Hi, everybody. It's Linda G. coming to you from Northern California. I want to thank, some people sent 2 books, which took me a long time to get because I never go out there. A memoir by Ann Oakes. Look at this. I remember every mean thing anyone ever said to me. I'll have to look at it. It looks funny. But do be careful about holding on to past hurts and slights because it doesn't help you. It's giving them energy they don't need. It doesn't help you. Okay, and Chris Maddow, she did a book called A Million Tomorrows. Got a little sci-fi and romance in here. I'm dying to know. Maybe this will end up selling as a movie feature, so we shall see. Okay, so I did a video with Sterling today, and one thing he mentioned was be sure to trust your guides. The thing is, we're so busy saying, what? Like when they told me I was going to do a YouTube video, I said, well, and you, Craig? No way. Try your best to not interrupt and allow them to talk to you, because I'm telling you, you think there's earth changes going on now, give it 2 more years. There's some shifting going on. In fact, I see the Harris administration having to deal with some Armageddon stuff. Not necessarily in death, but property being destroyed. I've always told you I feel Florida just underwater. Not all of it, but you know, the coastlines. Pretty much devastation there. And the heat indexes are going through the roof. My God, you guys, and the ocean's so hot, and Atlantic Ocean is getting ready to switch the way it moves, which could be devastating. The shifting is taking place as we speak. It's not future, it's now. The volcanoes are another sign. The hurricane factor, there's a couple of good ones coming in September. I have prayers today, so we'll be sure to say prayers for the earth, Mother Earth, who's just readjusting. She's just readjusting. But also in this madness that's taking place, there's going to be discoveries. So for some reason, the earth, now listen, I don't see California getting swallowed up, but I see openings where they discover new areas where people used to live in. I know we have an absolute antiquity. We have an absolute curiosity and love for that, because we'd love to know. You know, I know I love antiquity, but at the end of the day, it serves no purpose. It's like when the fire started here, and I just told the universe, look, if you want the house, take it. Let me just get my dogs, the family videos, some important papers, the dog food, and let's get out of here. But I wasn't interested in the house, and I put a lot of money in this house. But you know what? At the end of the day, let's move forward. So, but I do love any venture of even my native tribe and everything else. So, okay. Trust in us, and we will see that you get through this fine. There's, in the next 2 years, there's definitely, and I've been telling you guys this for a while. A lot of other psychic readers have been telling you this. Fasten your seatbelt. You think the political issues were big. Wait till we get nice and comfortable in the Harris administration, and then she's going to have to deal with all this unbelievable stuff happening. Apparently, Paris wasn't able to get the CO2 emission thing done, which is very disappointing. Not yet, at least. Pray for that. Remember, our positive, focused prayers can help everyone and everything. We are much stronger than what the ugly has to say. So, like Sterling said, trust what your guides are saying. And, you know, hey, listen, they told me to start the YouTube video, and I argued. Boy, am I glad I listened. Linda, you'll help calm them down. I'm like, oh, okay. So, okay, you guys. I wanted to touch bases on some issues here. So I told you that we're getting ready to go in some stuff. Now volcanoes I'm not necessarily seeing in the United States. Maybe up towards Alaska and Hawaii, but I'm not seeing in the mainland. I'm not seeing that kind of energy. I am seeing the horrendous rain still hitting, and I see a lot of really damaging lightning storms. I don't know why that, and the wind. Now, none of this is something new because I've told you guys this before. And what I kept seeing was the water, the flooding, which is happening as we speak. And God bless those people up in Arizona that got caught in that monsoon. And a lot of people were saying, and it's sort of true, why were all those hikers up hiking during a monsoon? You should know better, because monsoons come like that and then it was boom. Okay, but we can't bawl them out. We just have to be glad. Unfortunately, one person is missing, but we have to be glad that they got out of there. There was help and rescue. And we need to pray for the tribe that they're going to be okay. I guess they're bringing in food and stuff. Okay, so I'm going back on the questions that we're giving to Sterling, because I'm getting ready to have a procedure called the dot laser. It's like those laser things. I've had some before. Back in the old days, I used to just blow up like a nickel balloon, but boy, did I look good after it was done. But I haven't had it done in a while. So it's called dot. I've never had dot before. So I'm going to have it tomorrow at 11. I'm going to do Mel's show in the morning. And I thought I might not be back on for a little bit. I mean, I don't mind coming on looking rinky-dink so you can see before and after. But if I'm really bad, I don't want to be on. Hey, listen, I had one time, in fact, I haven't had this for a few years. This side of the face was black. And I went to the butcher like the day after, and I had my hat and my sunglasses. And the butcher, not trying to be rude, but he was just staring at me. He kept looking, and he's kept looking at my face like, what the heck? I said, hey, you should have seen the other guy. He busted out laughing. So, okay. This is a good one from Eric. What do you see happening in futures of the Trump kids? Will they wither and go away? Not that we're wishing that. I see Ivanka is actually going to turn on her husband, Jared. She's a Scorpio, huh? Because they can be I once had a Scorpio friend who loved her man, but he got another woman pregnant. He got herpes, gave her herpes, and she still married him because they can be so loyal, it's painful. The good news is she had a child, then that child took precedence over his draining her. So then she was able to move forward and live a much better life, and was very stern about, keeping this person away. Didn't help the child. So anyway, that's a Scorpio. Scorpio, like my parents were Scorpios. They wouldn't fight, they just wouldn't talk to each other. But, my dad was very mean. My mother never forgave him for that. But they would just be dead quiet for weeks at a time. They wouldn't talk. But Scorpios will still hang in there, So anyway, like I would have been gone out the door. So Ivanka, this is the weirdest hit. Okay, I'm just going to tell you what I got. I got that eventually down the road. I don't know how old she is now. I think she's in her 40s. Down the road, she remarries somebody with a lot of money. And it's her and Jared will get a divorce. And I see her maybe even living in a different country. I see her out of the limelight. She's not coming back. Of course, they were kind of filling her up. You could be the first female president. Now, she kind of bought that for a minute, but she knows it's a lost cause. Jared's going to get in big trouble for all that money from Saudi Arabia. Huge trouble. And then what happens to Don Jr.? He's going to go in rehab. You bet. My daddy said the rehab. He said, no. No, he's going into rehab. And that girlfriend of his, Kimberly, he doesn't have any intention of marrying her. There's something with her that he's already tired of. He's hanging with her now because he hopes she helps the dad, but when the dad loses, he's done with her. And she's a has-been. Fox News even cuts her out. Did you see where he called Fox News? Trump did. And he was talking and they said, well, thank you, Mr. President. They always call him Mr. President. He's not the current president. And they cut him off. Oops. Mr. Collins on Pride and Prejudice, remember that? He would start to talk and the lady would talk and he'd go, like, oh, excuse me for interrupting. So, Jared is definitely going to be in jail. I've seen it as clear as day. I've been seeing it for years. Just like I told you, Kamala would be the first female president of the United States. Years ago, I said this, several years ago. And I get mad because people are saying, well, as VP, she really doesn't do much. Biden, unlike other presidents, had her. I know that Trump didn't include Pence very much, but Biden had her come to a lot of the meetings. She's consuming the energy of the best, and she's doing really good. She's going to be ready to go. Now, there's a lot of psychic readers, including Sterling, who thinks it'll be close, but I don't know why, you guys. I wish I could tell you different, but I don't see it close. I see almost like, whoa, almost like I'm not going to watch MSNBC because I don't want to watch that Kornacki guy. I just don't want to watch him. I'll watch C-SPAN or something else. You guys tell me where I should watch. Maybe there's something on YouTube, but I'm almost seeing before the end of the night, we know who won. I see a big, maybe even like Florida, something big that she wins, that it's over. Remember to watch Sean, who's on, I did one of the shows with. He's a professional pollster. And he's Nancy Jean's son. So smart. And he looks at the numbers. And after what little he's gotten after this meeting, after the convention, and she got $500-something million. Eventually they will stop the multi-rich from being able to give all that money like they do. They will stop that. Okay, so Don Jr., he's got some jail time. I see him before a judge. I don't know what he did. It's probably something to do with interfering with an election. And also Eric's in trouble. Eric Trump's in trouble. I see people mad at Laura Trump. Something to do with money. So it could be when she took over the RNC, something to do with money, and people are spitting nails at her. So she's got trouble. The other daughter, the one that he had with the mistress, I just see her fading in the background. Because that was so rude. Did you see how she came in and went to give her dad a hug when he was at that thing and he just passed her by? He doesn't like her. He's never liked her. I don't know what that's about. Is it because she's the love child of the girlfriend? I don't know. Okay. And listen, did you guys hear that Barron Trump told his people in school? Now they can say what he said because he's 18. And he told everybody his dad and mom weren't together for 2 years before he ran for president. And then all of a sudden he made an agreement with the mom. So the check cleared. Okay, so let's see what else I can get here. You guys, I thought I had paused it before I looked down. Marjorie Taylor Greene. I felt, which I didn't want to feel, that she will win. her spot. But I really feel after she's getting comfortable in there, but there won't be that many of them. There's a little dot, dot, dot that they're putting the handcuffs on her. So she's going to be in huge trouble. And also a lot of people are going to be mad at her when they lose, like they lose, because they're going to blame people like her. I still see Bobart not making it, but I could be wrong. I just don't see Bobart in there. Okay. Will the former president take on Robert Kennedy as his VP? He'd be stupid enough to do that. I gotta throw the cards on that. Will Donald Trump, he's talking about it behind closed doors. They're looking at numbers. Will he take him on as his? Vance is upset. Vance is walking around talking smack. Ooh. Okay, Elon Musk has said something to Trump. You get rid of Vance, there's no more money. So he's got Trump in a rock and a hard place. He's having Robert Kennedy stand with him, but I'm not seeing him as VP. That's interesting. I don't see it. I see almost like it's too late, or they say, you know, the ticket's already been printed. But he is promising him a role in the administration. Oh, Jesus, Attorney General, are you kidding? Is he a lawyer? Yeah, he's a environmental lawyer. There was a guy that did a story about him, said he was like, they were good buds. He said he was smart, he was this, he was that. He did so much good work, and then it changed on a dime. And they're thinking it was that worm in his brain. Yeah, if it was up to Trump, yes. But I see Trump saying it out loud, but I see people showing him something. Like, dude, you know, he's got to, you think Vance is bad. You think the couch is bad. Okay, let's look at red states trying not to certify. They're in trouble. It's going to, here's the deal, and I think I've told you guys this before, and I could be wrong, but I'm telling you, I really feel that some underhandedness is they're going to try to start something, but they're not going to succeed. So what I'm feeling is, look, we win by such a landslide that they could try it or start it up, but it's not going to work. Trump will be surprised how many people didn't vote for him. That's what I just got. Yeah, Harris is going to win the electoral vote. And Jules wants to know, will Biden stay in office until Kamala and Tim are sworn in? Absolutely. Oh, and Sterling looked at Rick. Well, I'm so glad to hear this. Debbie Powell will replace Rick Scott. And also, I talked to Andre, but by the way, be sure to look at me and Andre, because he's really going to take a deep dive into it. But I think that Colin, is it him? Somebody was running up against Ted Cruz, and Ted Cruz is going to lose. There was another person I brought up, and he's going to look at that. Yeah, you know, Mike Johnson's in trouble. I'm feeling Mike Johnson's going to try to play something, and I feel he'll work on the side of Biden. And once again, they're going to try to kick him out. let me tell you, all this is gonna be water under water under the bridge, because it's just going to destroy them. They're working against each other. You notice how when we started working together, how much more beautiful it was and how strong we have been. Finally, as a democratic nation, including the independents, finally, we're no longer in that resistance. But they can't stop themselves. They're just ugly to the core sometimes. So our thing is that we got to get off the Trump train, not worry about him because he's a was-been, has-been, whatever. He's about ready to go. I even see people like Elise Stefanik, really blowing smoke up the Democrats. I see people trying to act like the people that we thought were cool, and then they turned, are going to go back to try to be cool, but we'll never trust them again. This is a good one. They want to know if 45 will ever be held accountable for the Logan Act. He talked with Netanyahu. They need not Netanyahu to say this did in fact happen, and that he's can be a lowlife. I don't see him saying this did in fact happen. I don't see Netanyahu saying that Trump talked to him, which is why they can't do it. So the answer to that is no. He did interfere with our ability to get a border policy done, but he won't pay any price on that. Will Missouri go blue and get Holly out? I think Holly could lose, but I'm not seeing Missouri quite blue yet. I'm not seeing it, but I do see people aren't happy with Holly. And you know, Holly doesn't really even live in Missouri. He uses his sister's address or something. I just think people are tired of him. User said, will Mother Earth reach out to a kind of stability in response to climate change? Vibrationally, we can create that. Mother Earth is just readjusting, constant readjusting. Flooding, heat, all that. But vibrationally, at night when you go to sleep, encircle the white light around Mother Earth and ask her to be at peace. And watch her come down a little bit. You know, did you guys see that? It didn't happen recently. It was years ago. There was a big, huge hurricane heading towards Hawaii. And I watch the Weather Channel all the time. And they were showing it going up right to Hawaii. And then it made a turn, just like, I think that was vibrational energy. I think the natives on the land moved it. I really do. So remember, anytime there's a hurricane coming, we'll get on board and we'll do a big prayer and watch it go bounce. Okay. Okay. Somebody said we had a good sized earthquake in New Jersey. Actually, a 4.5. Of course, it depends on how deep it is. Isn't really a good size quake. I had one here that was featured on the news because I had an indoor camera. And poor Jack, you could see him running because dogs know. And it boom, it shook. It was right underneath us. But it was only 4.5. I've been in a 6.9. Loma Prieta. And let me tell you something, you can't move. I was trying to reach my mother because she was standing in the kitchen and she's really sick with arthritis. Fortunately for her, she laid over the kitchen counter and kind of stabilized herself. Fortunately, my dad was in his chair. He says he was in the middle of the epicenter. He was in his chair and I got between, they say don't go in those homes, but I was in there because I couldn't, you really don't have the opportunity to run. I see people running out of buildings when it's shaking. Maybe it's that fight or flight, but I couldn't get to my mom to save my life. And my dad kept yelling, watch the microwave. In those days, microwaves, if you guys remember, were really big. My dad always got the first thing of everything, the first color TV on the neighborhood. And he bought the first microwave, and it was a big old hunky oven type thing. And we couldn't get to it, but fortunately it did the rocking, but it didn't fall out. Then I drove to my house that night. I had to check in at my hospital because they were asking all nurses to come in. So I had to rush to get my stethoscope and stuff at my house. I lived in an apartment and upstairs. I opened the door and I screamed, "Oh my God." But then I remembered that's how dirty I left it. Oops, that's not from the quake. That's just because I threw everything. Anyway, but I live near the airport. Oh my God, for months, all you heard was helicopters and planes. Everybody was landing at the airport where I lived. I think, yeah, San Francisco ended up being. I have a friend in LA said he was heading up to SFO, and then they said they were turning around. Okay. This is a good one. I'm going to read this. Sweet and Sandy. Last year, my husband and our kids and I were driving through town. It was in the afternoon, and a car passed us in front of us, and my husband told me that he saw blackness emanating from that car. He felt dread, and there was evil attached to it. I didn't really notice the car or its passengers as it passed, but I believed him. I believe him too. I've seen that blackness, only maybe twice in my life. It emanates, like she said. And yeah, and fortunately, it didn't zoom in on you, but it's interesting. He was connected enough to know that was evil. And I have in my life, I don't know about you guys, I have in my life met someone and faked the whole conversation to just get them out of my vision because they were evil. I don't know if you guys had the same thing. I imagine it's like when you meet Trump, because he's just, he's not really human. He's just like I could see demons jumping in and out of him. And he enjoys people suffering, which really tells you something there. Hitler was really sick. Not that I'm making an excuse for him. There's pictures of him that you see, like when he was at the Olympics, he's just shaking. I think they said he had Parkinson's, but he also had something wrong with his brain, because at first he came in with good intention and then he turned ugly. Trump never had good intention. It was always about him. Okay. Trump is going to be so shocked. He's not going to. Georgia, I think Georgia's blue, you guys. I just saw blue around Georgia. People are just coming out in droves. And a lot of the women that would have voted for Trump are going to vote for Vice President Harris, but they're not telling their husbands. They're trying to keep it like they don't want to be ridiculed. So when they go into the booth, no one else can see what they vote for. I know. Kathy said, "Why are so many beautiful animals come to Earth and are so badly treated?" I don't know about you guys. I can hardly stand those places that are asking for money for abused dogs, and they show them on the leash, and flies and fleas. And we love our animals so much, and they are such a magnificent energy. I saw a thing one time on a show, Paranormal on Camera, I think it was called. And this woman had her outdoor camera, and it was just a fawn, okay? And the fawn got hit by a car. They didn't show the actual accident, but you could see the fawn walking over to the sidewalk, and it laid down. So when it laid down, what it did, it died. You could see the complete image of a fawn, like a ghost, like a mist, coming out of it, moving forward. I can find that for you guys if you want me to. It was just amazing. They always go on. These energies always go on. But, we get dinged for any negative treatment we do to animals. So, and there's some people out there that just love to do negative stuff, which they usually end up being corrupt when they're older. You ever meet somebody that thought it was funny to kill an animal? Get away. Okay. Uh, somebody from Grand Rapids, Michigan wants to know if Kamala gets it or Trump. Absolutely, Kamala. Absolutely. I heard he's getting like 4 trips over to Michigan. He actually thinks it's important, but he's not going to win. I'm telling you, he's not going to win. Okay. I want to ask if we're going to have a war in the Middle East now with what's going on with Israel and them preempting some sort of attack. I just stopped trusting Netanyahu. I don't trust him as far as I could throw. Is there going to be a war with the Middle East? Based on what the energy is in the United States, and we look pretty good, like we got a little bit of a honeymoon period coming up. I think it's because we're going to be so excited about Vice President Harris, but it's steady as it goes. It's not quite, there's nothing here yet. There's talks and rumors of it, but it's almost like it's not, there's no explosion, there's no swords. It's as steady as it goes, like they're keeping it on the down low. Maybe they'll talk like we're going to get you, but they're not. And let me tell you, Putin can't do a thing about it. Putin just had all his you know how they fight drones and planes. Well, he had them all moved in around his castle. And because he wants to be protected before the people of Russia. The people of Russia are gathering up against him. I almost saw like that image of, you know, Frankenstein, and I saw all the villagers coming up with their stuff. I see the villagers saying, enough, we're done. He's being made a fool out of. Even China's turning their nose up to him. Now he has the tower. Not good. He's stuck. He could be stuck in a cave, you guys. He's stuck. He's unable to move, and he did it all on himself. It looks real bad even by September, which is a week away. Okay, so let's take a look at Harris and Waltz. How are they doing? What's the energy like? They're busy, is what I've just got. Busy, busy, busy. What is this? Oh, it's empty. Hello. Okay. Oh, by the way, you guys, can I throw this by you real quick? So something came in the mail from Wyoming, okay, from the courts. And it's for my ex that now lives in Maine. And he moved, I think, the first week of August to Maine. He didn't tell me, he just let me know he arrived there. I was like, oh, okay. Anyway, it was a notice for failure to appear. And it's like, you better take care of this in the amount of $145 immediately, or a warrant will be issued for your arrest, and your driver's license in the state you come from will notify them to stop your driver's license. On what? So I've been trying to get a hold of him, and I can't get a hold of him. He might have dropped his phone or something. He's always famous for that. So they had a link you could go on. So I thought, well, let me go on the link and see, I didn't know if he had gotten arrested. What the heck? I go on, I look, and it's for going 6 miles over the speed limit on the highway. So he probably went through Wyoming on 6 miles, but he's gonna be arrested for 6 miles. I heard Wyoming is really hurting for money. Needless to say, I went online and I just paid for it. Jesus Christ, oh my God, we're gonna arrest you, we're gonna do for 6 miles over the, holy cow. Now, Paris. Waltz. Waltz was hurt by what those people said about his son, but there was some guy on some news station got fired for making a comment. They're not allowing that. I'm really happy to see that. And Barron, remember, he made some sort of comment about, you guys can make fun of me all you want, but the bottom line, almost like there was something going to happen, like you guys will be wiped out or something. He is saying what his father's telling him. Trump doesn't have that much power. He's telling his son and everybody, oh, we've got a militia ready to go. Yeah, they have some militias, but they're not going to be able to do any damage. Okay, so be careful what he says, because he's just repeating what his dad told him. Okay, let's look at my last question, and I don't know when I'll see you guys. Well, I'm going to be on tonight with Andre. Excellent, 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 excellent. Tower in her house too, which means being blown out of the water, because I think this is a good tower. There's bad towers and good towers. The towers can mean news that makes you very happy, something to do with money. So I think they're just extremely happy. They're taking the swords and they're cutting right through this. I think even in September, we're going to find some good stuff. And I see announcement between Biden and her of what they're doing for the Americans, what they plan on doing. So remember, I always told you when Biden said the check, and I said he's going to win because he told everybody you're going to get checked. I feel like everybody is just so happy that somebody is going to do something to help those less fortunate, that it's going to wipe out these billionaires that think they're all that, think they can buy their way. That was the beginning of the end for Rome too. They didn't want emperors, and then they stopped them, and then they had a Senate and all that, and then they brought back, that's what Trump would have been, an emperor, and that's when they went down in a handbasket. Okay, you guys, I love you all. I'll catch you this evening. It's not going to be live. I'll post it. Talk to you later. Cheers.